So the early years of my life starts in Best Village in Guyana. My mother got married at the age of 16. Life was very difficult. My dad didn't have a full-time job. When my mom discovered she was pregnant, she and my dad decided they could not afford another child. My dad, however, had a dream the night before. And he said, I saw this little girl carrying a torch and hundreds of people were following her. We can't abort this child. She's going to be a leader. And she canceled the appointment. So I was homeschooled from the ages of 5 to 8, and my mom surrounded me with books. But my dad would always call me light and leader. The way he constantly encouraged me was a good thing. And of course, because I was homeschooled, my reading was very advanced. So when I went to school, that teacher had her eyes on me. And I remember she wrote a note and she gave it to my grandmother. I don't know what was in that note, but all I know that the next morning, my grandmother woke me up like 5 in the morning, and we had to get to the ferry boat to get to the city. She went to a school called St. Andrews and she gave that note to a teacher. Miss Moore was her name. She praised me a lot and she started tutoring me for the 11 plus exam. So in terms of educational mobility, if you didn't get that 11 plus exam, the chances of you going on to university or getting into a good job was not good. When the results came out, my name was nowhere to be found. So they thought I'd failed. And she came and she got my mom, took her to the Ministry of Education. She demanded to see my paper, and they found I had the highest marks. So here was somebody who believed in my potential so much, she did not accept what seemed to be the results as the end. So the school I went to is St. Joseph's High School. It was all lawyers' children, politicians' children, people with money. So can you imagine me, a tiny village girl, going to that school? The imposter syndrome was born. On Christmas Day, the first term, I was involved in a terrible car accident. As a result of that, I was kept out of school for a year. And when I went back, the head teacher, she just said something like, if you don't pass, you'll be out of the school. But my dad saying, you are persistent, you will make it. That was my driver. I wanted to make them proud. As I succeeded, I overcame certain obstacles, but I think what really quieted that imposter syndrome is my experience here in the UK. And when I walked into the class, this girl said, "Oh, are you a science teacher?" I said, "Yes, I am. But I thought you were a dinner lady." I was shocked. I thought, what? But it didn't take me long to realize why she said that, because all the mealtime supervisors were all black people. But I was the only black teacher in that department. I decided I was going to go for promotion and I'm going to fix this problem. I went to one of the senior leaders and she said, "Dennise, the problem is you are not leadership material." There was that loud imposter syndrome again. I don't belong in this profession. Who am I to think I can get any position? And as I walked into this bottom set year 9 class I was teaching, there was a Caribbean girl sitting at the front. And I said, "Tanya, you have such beautiful handwriting." She said, "Thank you, miss." I said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" "A teacher like you." Here is a young girl who sees me as a role model, and I don't even have a leadership title. I'm going to remove the barriers for you. You can get to the heights your talent can take you. And that young girl became the first child of color to go to Oxford University from that school. I discovered that here there were very low expectations for children from certain backgrounds. That's when something started to form in here that, you know what, we need to fight this battle in the mind. We need to first let these young people believe that they can be in the driving seat of their own social mobility. So after 20-something years in education, I decided, you know what? I need to go and do something else. A friend said to me, Dennise, you are so brilliant at developing leaders. You don't need to go work for anybody. Why don't you just register a business and run your own consultancy firm? My company is called Leadership in Education Services Limited. The purpose of my company is getting people to think differently about leadership. What the program does, it increases the readiness capability of people to get into the driving seat of their own success. If you're really serious about removing barriers, it's about taking action with that person at the center. So my dad would always call me light and leader. And so I thought it's about sharing your success. It's about passing it on. And so that's how I came up with an Olympic torch. You're passing it on. What I want people to do is to realize the real path to purpose, to happiness, and feeling valued is not your money, it's not your title. It's about using your gifts, skills, and talents to help somebody else to succeed.